Welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today we are going to be doing strawberry chocolate tower, M&M chocolate tower, and maybe chocolate and blueberry chocolate tower. I don't know where we're going to get. I don't even know if we can pass this one because I recorded this video like 6 times, and this is my last time. If I can't get it, I'm deleting this part, and I'm not doing this. There's a one part that's like so hard, and I can never get up there. So yeah.
Let me describe this man. He was actually okay looking, mid-20s, and dressed pretty well. He just looked like a normal guy. Then he asked me to sit down at the table. I said no. That's when he told me that he'd been coming to my bakery for a week and that he'd been watching me. Then he grabbed my hand and pulled me down to sit next to him. Then he proceeds to put his hand on my lap. Creepy, part three's up.
So, you guys know in my last video, I was just talking about like stuff that happened at school and like, yeah, the first day of school and stuff like that. And I'm gonna just tell stories about like 3rd grade, some 4th grade, but I am in 5th grade now. I just wanted to post these because, no, this is the part that I can never get up there. And like,
he started slapping me. I covered my face with my arms and I just started kicking at him. My 2 female employees, who right away are like 17 years old, started attacking him. And then he starts hitting back. It's hear me yelling. Came and attacked him when the police arrived 2 minutes later. I found out this guy was stalking me for a month. I got a restraining order. Am I wrong for going?
I swear, I literally hate this part. Am I turning? Am I not supposed to turn? Because I don't want to fall. Alright, I'm not doing this. We can try that other one a different time. So, we're going to do the M&M tower because I don't feel like wasting all that time doing the strawberry tower because it's just so annoying. And I hate that stage so much. Like, literally so much. As you guys saw in the last video, we completed 3 towers. We got through all 3 of them. So if you can see stuff in the background, I'm watching Roblox, somebody do a obby, and story times and stuff. If you can hear that, you can just listen to that. I don't know. There we go.
You know, shocker, another keepsake you can get her in all the songs first, and you want to first say, here, this is for you. You don't gotta keep it. Brother-in-law, okay, calm down, but I decided to just...
So I'm going to tell you about a story that happened in the 4th grade. So basically, there's 2 stories that happened in 4th grade. I told you one in the last video, but yeah. So it was lunch recess, and like everybody was on the playground, and yeah, everybody was on the playground, and it was like almost all of the 4th graders, like all of my friends, like everybody, almost all of them, but like some of them were minding their own business, but like almost all of the 4th grade, all of 4th grade, almost all of 4th grade. So yeah, y'all. So everybody's like started fighting each other and stuff like that, and like I was fighting people, all my friends were fighting people, and yeah. like a bunch of stuff happened that day. Nobody was having a good day that day. So dun 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 dun. So yeah, and then there's this another one where one of my friends, he would like bother me and like trying to hit me with a pencil or something, and then my pencil fell, and then he started laughing, and then I was like, and I tried to poke him for messing with me, and I accidentally like really forced it into his skin and stabbed it with a pencil, and that's the end. I just meant to poke him. I didn't mean to like jab it. I don't know. So, and then we both went to the principal's office, and we were both in the principal's office. We like told him like the whole story and the truth, and yeah. Garang. Yeah, I died. I mean, I'm only going back down here. I'm still at the blue level. I just gotta kill myself real quick. Yeah, so. And then that's the 2 stories. In 3rd grade, nothing really happened, so I don't really got any stories. I am doing a giveaway, so if you guys want to join, I am going to post a short, like on the YouTube Shorts or like whatever, and then yeah, I'm gonna do that, and then I'm going to close my eyes and choose someone who friended me, and whoever that is, I'm gonna give them a prize. So yeah, make sure you look out for that YouTube short so you guys know when you can friend me. There we go. Last level. I'm dead. Yeah, we're dead. Gotta go back to Chocolate Day. There we go. I am going to be quiet a lot in this video because I am trying to focus. I will do that strawberry chocolate tower last because I can't do it. And I'm going to do more obby videos. Like I did, the first one I did was with my friend. I know you guys couldn't hear me in that video. I thought the mic was on, and I was on the phone with her. I even checked, and it said mic on, and I'm like, bruh, like, what is your problem? What the heck is this, bro? How do you even? I don't know. And yeah, let's go, bro. Let's go. Y'all ain't got nothing on me, bro. Let's go. Alright, now time to do Blueberry Chocolate Tower. This might be one of my favorite ones. Don't know.
I cried my eyes off, and my mom didn't even care when she found out. My dad ended up getting full custody, and I haven't seen or spoken to my mom ever since. Now I'm at a better place, and I'm happy living with my dad and my loving stepmother and sister. Sometimes someone hurt me so deeply, it places hatred on people who love us.
There we go, bro. Whoa. I'm gonna be quiet for a while, so I'm gonna turn up my TV in a second when this next story time comes off. They're not my story times, y'all. They not mine. They're actually not mine. Flip. Dip, dip, slip. Wow. Alright, here we go.
Teacher who used to terrorize me for being more girlier than the rest of the boys in the class. She used to say awful things to me like, I can't act a certain way because I'm not a girl, or pink can't be my favorite color, I need to pick a boy color, or stop hanging out with so many girls, you need to hang out with the little boys. And for a long time, I didn't tell anybody. I let this lady pick on me for way too long. I eventually did tell, but that's a story time for another day. Anyways, one day around Halloween, she thought it would be fun to bring every single kid in the class a costume to wear for the day. Now, that sounded like fun until she started handing everybody their costumes, and when she got to me, she pulled out a fairy costume. And then she was like, well, since you always act like a fairy, I thought this costume would be appropriate for you. And me being a kid, I didn't even understand what she was trying to say to me, but the joke ended up being on her because I actually liked the costume, and so did all the little girls and boys in my class.
Story time! My cheapest client. As a beginner nail tech, I let a lot of things slide, and I feel like I was just too nice, and sometimes things can be my fault. But anyways, let's get into the story. At this point, I've been doing nails for at least like 5 months, and I had this one new client book with me. Everything was going smooth until they showed up, and they brought their own materials. By materials, I mean like rhinestones, gel polish, acrylic powder, basically everything I needed to do her nails. And I never know how to say no because I'm a nice person and people scare me low-key. So I agreed and I'm like, okay, we can use these to do your nails. Everything was going fine, and she had all types of different designs on each nail, which took a lot of time. And she was extremely picky on where she wanted her designs. And the set probably took me around 4 hours. And at the end, her nails came out just how she wanted. And she refused to pay me because it was her materials, so I took her nails off.
Why does the entirety of the Denver International Airport have barbed wire facing inwards? Almost like a prison, it's trying to keep something in. The Denver International Airport is home to so many conspiracy theories. I went there several times within my own traveling, and whether you believe the conspiracy theories or not, it is so hard to argue that the entire airport is not suspicious. DIA was built as a replacement to the Stapleton Airport, even though nothing was wrong with the airport before. It was supposed to be done in 1993, but it didn't end until 1995. The final...
Me and my daughter used to be best friends. We did everything together, and she truly was the light of my life. But things started to change on her teens. Moodiness, lashing out, lies, etc. I just thought it had to do with her age and that she would grow out of it. I really tried everything. Family therapy, long talks about how much I loved her. None of it worked. She would either roll her eyes back or spit more of her venom. My husband works really long hours and isn't much help, to be honest. My husband is white and I am black and my daughter is mixed, but she looks white and she really takes after her father. I really don't know what I did wrong, but her dislike for me began to become pure hatred. She would question all the time how someone like me could be her mother, when she was white and I was black. At some point, she demanded a DNA test, and I said sure, if she paid for it, and she was not pleased with the results. She is 17 now and began dating this white boy, and she is head over heels for him. She refused to let me meet him and told me that having a jobless N-word for a mother truly ashamed her. I am a stay-at-home mom, and I don't think I've ever experienced such pain. Long story short, I couldn't take her abuse anymore and decided to go back to my family in Cuba. My daughter couldn't be bothered to even say goodbye to me. A few days ago, I received a message from my daughter asking for forgiveness. She kept spewing on about how she can't fit in and is in a really dark place and lots of other excuses. It may sound cold, but I don't want to see her face. I don't care about her apologies. I thought I'd made the right decision, but my husband thinks I should really hear her out and forgive her. My family has been harassing me to go back to Miami and make peace with her. My anxiety is over the roof. I'm back on my pills now, and I'm starting to think, is it really all my fault?
Story time about how I went to prison when I was 12. Yeah, this is a true story. When I was 12, I went to Jamaica Republic with my parents, obviously. I had no say over where we went, what we did. Usually every single morning we would just wake up, get in the car, and we'd go somewhere new. One morning, I woke up, got in the car with my parents, and I think 2 of my aunts. My sister was also there. My uncle might have been there too. I don't know. This was 11 years ago. I remember we drove for a significant amount of time until we reached like a...
Alright guys, that story time is over. I don't know if you could hear it or not, but we're going to try to go back to the Strawberry Tower. And you might not be able to hear me, but we're going to try again.
A pretty low building. They don't tell me what this place is. I had learned when I was a kid to stop asking, hey, where are we going? 1, they won't tell you. 2, it doesn't change the fact that we're going someplace I don't want to be. We go into this building and there's security everywhere. Suddenly, the boys are separated from the girls. All the women visitors are like piled into this room. There were other people there that I didn't know, and they scream at us, telling us all to, take our clothes off. But because I was the youngest, I didn't have to. I do remember being patted down, however. It wasn't anything crazy. But yeah, everybody had to take their clothes off and make sure that nobody had anything. Again, I still have no idea where we are. A little while after that, we're led into this like open area. I see my dad and my uncle again, I think. Remember this square shape. In the center of this square, these men were playing basketball. And I remember like they were also playing ping pong. To me, it looked like a giant rec center that was really run down. We went into one of the rooms, which I guess is a cell. If you can try to imagine this, imagine a bunch of like gigantic refrigerator boxes piled on top of each other. Because I believe there was like 4 to 8 people to a room. And they were all like kind of sleeping on these bunk bed style boxes. Very shoved, very claustrophobic. I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. I shouldn't have been there. Who brought me? My dad's in there talking to people. We then go into like this bigger room that's kind of set up to be a church. He's in there talking to a bunch of guys. I'm bored. And I noticed that there's a man walking around with like a little cart. What is he selling? He's selling lollipops. And I'm like, ooh, I want a lollipop. Ah! And I was like, looking at his cart, and I was like, Ma, I want a lollipop. Can I get a I did not get a lollipop. My impression of that prison was that it was a nice place, but it was dirty. Nice people, good people, yeah. I was a kid.
So this story time is so funny, you guys. I completely forgot about this until I looked through my old Snapchat memories and an old video came up of this day. So as some of you guys may know, I used to work at Six Flags when I was in high school. It was a terrible experience, but that's not what this video is about. This video is about one of the perks that I got working at Six Flags. So I was allowed to bring one person and myself for free to Six Flags on any of my days off. So I was best friends with this one girl, and every chance that we got, we would go to Six Flags. The only thing was that this friend of mine hated roller coasters. She was completely terrified of them, so we never went on them. Until one day, I convinced her. Don't ask me how I did it because I have no idea. I'm a very persuasive person, so I was just like pushing, and I just like basically didn't let her say no. Not gonna lie, it's one of my toxic traits, but we'll talk about that another time. So anyway, there's a roller coaster ride, it's called El Toro. And it doesn't go upside down or anything, and that was one of the main things my friend said is that she does not want to go upside down. But this ride is still a pretty intense ride. It's the fastest ride at Six Flags, other than King Ka. So I take her on El Toro, right? So she's obviously super nervous. So the first drop, she's screaming, I'm screaming. Then I feel all her body weight on me. So I'm laughing, but I look over to her, and she went limp, like as if she fell asleep. Then we go up again, she starts screaming. We go down again, she goes limp. Over and over and over.
Why I jump every time I hear keys rattle. Hold on. This can't be me doing it. It's in the distance, like somebody walking past, and I'm talking in the store, in a house. This, not okay. The thing is, I'm not the only one who does this. My sister also jumps. It's because of our dad, and I'll tell you why. See, my dad used to hang his keys off of his belt, which means everywhere he went, this sound would be heard. So if he was walking past our room, we would hear. For most people, that sound means nothing. For me and my sister, that means that we were in trouble. Because it was never louder than when he was headed towards our room to tell us what we'd done wrong, and to potentially hit us with that very belt. Now, it's not that bad, but I didn't realize this till recently, when my cousin kept moving her keys from one side of a chair to another, and I couldn't focus on what was going on until she stopped doing that. I was like, please. When I explained to her why, she got it. But I was one of those people who always said that, I was spanked when I grew up, and I turned out fine. It's little things that like this that pops up, and it's like, maybe we're not so fine. You know what I'm saying?
Storytime about the client who asked me to do her entire service for free. This client just so happens to be the first client that I've ever found on TikTok. Not long after I started making makeup artist story times, I had a few people reach out to me and ask if I would do their makeup. More specifically, if they could schedule an appointment to have their makeup done. We're gonna call this one in particular client Karen, and you'll see why in a second. Karen DM'd my Instagram account saying that she was a TikTok follower and that she had been trying to get a hold of me to schedule an appointment for her daughter. Her daughter was a senior in high school about to attend her senior prom. She told me that her daughter told her that she had been following me on TikTok since the beginning of my Makeup Artist Storytime series. She explained that she was a huge fan and that it would be great if there was any way that I would be able to do her daughter's senior prom makeup. I started by first asking her if she had a specific date or time in mind. Karen gave me all the details of her daughter's prom, and then I realized that she lives halfway across the country. That's when I told Karen that I was extremely appreciative for the opportunity, but there's no way that I would be able to fly halfway across the country. Karen was very understanding and thanked me for my time, but that's not where the story ends. A couple of weeks later, I hear back from Karen in my Instagram DMs. It said something along the lines of, "Hello, my daughter's senior prom is coming up and we would love for you to be able to do her makeup," followed by the exact same date, time, and location that she had given me just a couple weeks ago. I was a little confused at first because our first conversation was literally saved right above this one. I responded back and told her again that I would not be able to make the event. I apologized for any inconvenience and I thanked her for the opportunity yet again. But of course, Karen was not going to take no for an answer. Karen started DMing me repeatedly, basically rephrasing her initial question in multiple different ways, and then I finally decided just to give her what she was asking for. I told her that I would be able to make the event if she was able to pay for a round-trip airfare, at least one night of a hotel stay, and pay for my services. Surprisingly, Karen actually agreed to this plan. Karen gave me a budget of $5,000, saying that that should cover my round-trip ticket, a hotel stay, and all of my services and products. To be completely honest, I really didn't think that this plan was going to go through, but I decided to play along anyway because it would be great to be able to meet some of my followers. As the date for her daughter's prom grew closer, I decided to reach back out to Karen and make sure that everything was still okay. Previously, we had agreed on her paying me the $5,000 a couple of days before my departure. When I reached back out to Karen, she informed me that she thought $5,000 was just a little bit too much. I told her I would be willing to negotiate the price, but it would still have to cover the original terms of the agreement. Karen then told me that she would gladly give me her permission to use her daughter's face in a video if I would do the makeup and travel for free. I guess this is just a reminder that if it seems too good to be true, it probably is. And yet another timeless Karen story. Thank you so much to everyone who has supported me on TikTok, and don't be a Karen.
Alright, well, that's over. If you guys heard it, I don't know. But this is so hard.
Take 20% off online
I don't understand. Is
store.
there
On top
like
of already
something
great deals on women's shorts, outdoor
in
furniture, and
between?
women's swimsuits.
Because I literally can't.
$20 off and everyone earns Kohl's cash. Kohl's.
No, like I can't. I've been trying. And I literally can't. I've been sweating.
Story time on how I was kidnapped by my insane dad. Okay, so boom. This all began at the time when I was 8 years old. So my teacher was off for whatever reason, so we had a substitute teacher. The substitute teacher ended up being my dad, but I didn't know he was my dad at the time. But I always had a bad feeling when I was by him. One day after class, my dad asked me to stay to talk to him. But because I always had a bad feeling about him, I just made up an excuse and told him that I couldn't stay after class. And even when I gave him that excuse, he told me just give him a second, but again, he was weird. Anyways, the next day at school we had free time, and the whole time he was staring at me. It was actually almost my birthday and I was passing out invitations to my classmates. Well, somehow he got a hold of one of my invitations. My birthday went by and everything was fine until the next day. It was Sunday and my mom was at work and I was babysitting my two little sisters. And this is where it gets scary. Okay, so boom, like I said, it was Sunday and my mom was at work and I was babysitting my two little sisters. When I went to go get my sisters a snack, I heard something. I got scared and I immediately called my mom on our emergency phone. She looked at the cameras and there was nothing there, but I kept on hearing something. So I took my mom's old flip phone and I grabbed my two little sisters. I brought them to my room in our secret crawl place and I gave my older little sister the flip phone. I told my little sister to stay there and to not come out until I come back, and that if I I didn't come back to call the police and stay hidden until the police came. I grabbed my bat and went downstairs, and guess who it was? My insane dad. So that's when he told me that he was my dad and that he had proof. So I went with him to get him away from my little sisters, and that's when he threw me into his truck. I texted my sister the signal before he took my phone. Like for part 3. Okay, so boom, like I said, my dad threw me into his truck. I was able to text my little sister to signal for help before he took my phone. About 20 minutes later, he stopped at a hotel. He again told me that I was his, and that's why he would stare at me so much, because he had to make sure. And then he said he had to make sure that I was his sacrifice, but I didn't understand what he was talking about. He was being very creepy. I ended up staying there with him for 6 days, but thank God on the 6th day, the police was finally able to track me down. They were finally able to locate me and find me, and thank God they did. I ran to my mom, cried, told her I loved her, but I also told her that I did it to keep my sisters safe. Now he's in jail for 10 years, and he can't come within 100 feet of me or my family. My family moved to Florida with my stepdad, and now I'm expecting my little brother. Trust your instincts.
This is the reason why I hate boats, and I'll never go on a boat again. So one day for my mom's birthday, she really wanted to go dolphin watching. And you know, I was pretty excited because I'd never been on a boat before. And if you live in Jersey, any time that you go to the shore, it's gonna be colder than if you weren't at the shore because of like the bodies of water, or like, honestly, I don't know, like just science, field science, I don't know. But I was thinking about like, oh, it's probably gonna be cold because we're gonna be like in the middle of like the ocean. So let me put on some jeans and a thick t-shirt. And you know what? It would have taken me 2 seconds to just like, you know, click on the weather app and see what the temperature was outside. It was 99 degrees that day. But here's the kicker. It felt like 115. So when we get to the boat, there's a bottom level with shade and then a top level that's just like open. So, you know, the sun's just directly hitting you. And where does my family want to go? Of course, to the top part of the boat. So I was really hot, obviously. For 1 second, I'm talking to my mom. The next second, I'm lying on this bench with my mom pouring a water bottle on my head. Apparently, I had heat exhaustion and passed out.
We're talking about how my brother almost beat up some 5th graders. But we had all spent the day out at my family's ranch, and I brought my boyfriend, Jerry, out to see it. Little backstory, it was built in like the 1920s, and then rebuilt in the early 2000s, and now it's under construction again. So we decided to drive home. We're coming back, I'm feeling tired, and I'm also kind of blind. So my brother decides to take over driving.
Nah, it was really because your driving sucks.
Okay, well, whatever. Anyways, we get close to the neighborhood, and we start to pull up. We're going down the street next to our house, the car hits a big thud. And I literally thought my brother had just like hit someone on their bike or something.
Yeah, I thought I gained 20 points for hitting someone.
But then we saw a bunch of people hiding start to run back to their house. And that's when we knew that they had thrown something at our car. My brother literally turns to my boyfriend and goes, "Hey, do you know how to fight?"
Well, in my defense, Jeremy seems too nice.
Jeremy says yes, and then they whip the car into the driveway. Like for part 2. Storytime part 2 about my brother almost beating up some 5th graders. So they pull into the driveway and then hop out of the car ready to fight. And started running after who we thought were high schoolers. I went to go look at the damage on my car and it was just really wet. It kind of looked like my car had been egged. And that's when other cars started to pull up too. And they were like, "Hey, my car was just hit." They were looking to talk to the people's parents. And I was like, "Yeah, us too." We rang the doorbell. No one was home, but the door literally just swung open. So my brother and my boyfriend were yelling upstairs. Because everyone's outside waiting, I call the non-emergency police. And my brother calls another friend as backup. So his friend told his work that he had a family emergency and left. Sometime during this, the kids came back downstairs and locked their front door. So I knocked on it and was like, "Hey, you guys should just apologize." Because the police were kind of already on their way. And that's when they opened the door and we saw how tiny they were. Literal 5th graders. I honestly felt kind of bad, but it probably scared them into not doing this to anyone else. My brother's friend pulled up and he had obviously gone out of work for no reason.
I was just seeing if he was gonna be true or not.
But didn't you end up paying him $35?
One day, I made this online friend on a random video chat room. We're gonna call her Jalissa. Jalissa and I ended up exchanging numbers because in this video chat room, you couldn't call whenever you want or text whenever you want. So this was a bad decision, but so she ends up FaceTiming me. I answered and she started showing me a wall. The wall had pictures of different people. I saw my picture there too. I asked Jalissa what the purpose of this wall.
At Ralph's, we work with local farms right in our own backyard to bring you fresher than fresh produce.
This wall was. She basically said she saves pictures of everyone she meets in this video chat room and practices evil magic on them. This is the best part! So now when I want to make friends who won't save my picture on their wall.
This is a story of the time that me and my childhood best friend almost got kidnapped. Just a warning, this could be triggering. I was around 10 years old and my neighbor down the street was about 7. All I remember is that it was getting dark outside and my parents told me that I should walk her home. It was about a 3-minute walk.
So we're walking out of my house and down the street a little bit, and we see a car pull up to us. It was a regular sedan and it had tinted windows. I was a very paranoid kid, so I told my friend to turn around. The car continued to follow us walk back to my house, and a man pulled down his window and asked us if we needed a ride to where we were going. I immediately screamed and told my friend to run back to my house. So we ran back inside, told my parents, and my parents thought nothing of it. Mind you, I live in a pretty safe area, so I could see why my parents weren't that worried. I was also a very dramatic kid, but this wasn't me being dramatic. So we go back outside and we see that the car was pulled up another person's driveway, so we thought we were okay. I still told my friend to run. The car lights turned on and go down the driveway and tried to chase us, but we got home in time.
So like about a week ago, this random user started tagging me and they were saying that I won a giveaway or something, and I stalked their account and I accidentally clicked on a link on their profile. Obviously left the link very fast because I did not want a virus on my phone, but I ended up getting something way worse. So after I left the link, I started getting really weird text messages that were saying, I know everything about you, this is your address, this is your age, and whatever. Along with that, they kept calling like at 3:30 in the morning every day. So I blocked them because that was very freaky. So after I blocked this number, I realized that someone was constantly throwing random objects in my yard, like Band-Aids and like safety kits. I was very confused. I didn't know if it was my friends pranking me or if it was this number that knew all of my information now. This is the best part. Long story short, my friend said it wasn't them. So I ended up unblocking the number that knows all of my information and asking them stuff. So after all of this stuff starts happening, I decided to unblock the number that knew all of my personal information, and I texted them because if it wasn't my friends pranking me, it was probably them since they now had my address and knew everything about me. I unblocked the number and I texted them and I told them, what's your problem? What do you want with me? Why do you even have my personal records? I answered in like a second. It's really weird because that never happens to me, but okay. So the number answered and they basically told me they wanted $50,000 in return or else they will sell my identity and I will no longer be anyone in this world. So keep in mind, the way that this account tracked me down was that they tagged me in a photo and I accidentally clicked the link in their profile. So I went back to their profile and their profile picture was a picture of me that I've never posted anywhere.
Wow. So the strawberry tower you guys saw. Oh wow. There's gonna be a part 3, guys. So I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.